recovering from a cold and here to bring you a live broadcast for some Rocket League action this evening. We are back with Rocket League Splash Series, the Tsunami Cup, sponsored by Cracked Gaming. Of a drop shot tourney, according to their Twitter, going on. Sign up coming up if you want to go check that out. Folks, we have an exciting matchup going on this evening. It is going to be the return of Next2Nu Cosmos up against KAIZ3N, who are currently 4-0 throughout their record, versus Next2Nu Cosmos, who are 2-2. We actually, unfortunately, did get to see them get knocked out previously by just IceColeBrew in a 0-3 sweep. However, they have found redemption the following week against Mafia Vendetta, knocking them out 3-0 in a returning sweep, which has to make them pretty happy. However, KAIZ3N doing a little bit better. 4-0, by the way, came out 3-2 against just IceColeBrew last week, but it looks like everyone's a little antsy to get in, so let's go ahead and get these folks on the road. Let me just let them know, and we will get this game going. Folks, this is going to be another best of 5. This is GC3 level at the moment, at peak for these folks. And so with that in mind, we're going to start off this best of 3 competition with some very impressive plays coming from both teams right now. It's going to be Devs on the side with Swag Jin Woo, and then Reflex Goated for Next2Nu Chaos in the orange. KAIZ3N currently playing with Octocooks, Chris and Blizz on the side. And a very quick response, very quick start for Next2Nu Chaos at the moment, trying to really play around that initial defense. However, Octocook is going to pick up that first demo, buy some space, buy some time as that ball gets cleared out to the orange corner. And to the folks watching in the chat, I do want to give you a reminder. Please make sure to clip this and send it over to Rocket League Splash Series. You know they want to see those high-flying clips. You know they want to see that action. You know that they want to see Swag Jin Woo find a shot. Instead, it's going to be Octocook cooking that offense in the mark with less than 60 seconds gone by so far. It's been a very impressive back and forth between both these teams. Chris not really able to make a strong appearance, more positional rotation than anything, as Devs is going to try to go for a flip reset, doesn't get the angle he wants, gets denied. 3 shots so far for Swag. Reflex goaded on that defensive play, but not enough. Chris tries to find the opening across the strike box, won't find that centering play. About a minute 25 gone by so far, about 90 seconds gone through at the moment, and neither side really giving up that first goal. And you have to wonder, for Next2Nu Cosmos, I called them Chaos earlier, I meant to say Cosmos. Next2Nu truly want to start the rest of the season on their best foot. They had some positional aspects that just were not working out for them in the long run. They had issues just finding the mark on the net and were getting outplayed and outpredicted multiple times. And unfortunately, even with the pinch off the goalpost will not be kind to Reflex today. Ooh, honestly, that's the best way you can play that position. However, just unlucky overall on that run. Now with that first goal going over to KAIZ3N, with that dam broken, you're going to see how many shots folks can find through in the moment. Chris looking for a center to Octo. He's going to be cooked at the baseline, tries to get past that strike box, but won't be able to cut through. Swag gets behind the ball, clears it out off the goal line. Less than 90 seconds, less than half the game to go at this point, as it's just a nice little back and forth between these teams. Not really able to break through, except Swag, who gets it underneath the defense. Love this 50 play. Comes in for the quick cut, gets around Blizz, who's just a bit too vertical. Will be not denied. Next2Nu gets that goal, as I realize my ball was paying attention to all my commands. Swag goes in for another shot, tries to get a twofer. Instead, Chris will deny it. Air dribble carry down center, tries to keep it under the competition and drops it below Reflex. Chance to break through, Reflex gets up, tries to kill the ball, but Chris with the second touch squeezes past that defense, puts KAIZ3N back in the lead. Still plenty of time to go in this first game of 5. Of a best of 5, I should say. Chance for a full 5-game sweep, which I personally do love to see. That's what happened to KAIZ3N last week against just Chalk It Bro. Swag and Reflex both double commit on this play. Depths is out of his depths here, but will still try to find the mark. Instead, sends it off to the wing. Goes into counter. It's going to be Reflex. Let's find an opening for the squad. Ball down center. Swag gets the 50 off of Octo's defensive touch. Won't be enough, though. Reflex can't realign himself to follow that air dribble. Just tries to put it towards center. Now it's Octo Cook. Pretty big mark there. Tries to get out of the way. Blizz. Notice Blizz ran out of boost, recognized the play, but still put that threat on. Ball onto the backboard. Depths. He's going to try and challenge Chris. Gets that ball center. Blizz right in the way. Won't be able to break through, though. Really wanted that touch from Swag. Swag clears the ball out. 65 seconds left to go. Isn't a 1v1. Pops it up high. Wanted to find the feed to Reflex, but sadly, Reflex will have his horn shown down in that moment. Depths tries to put the ball center. Dangerous positioning. Chris able to deny, though. Octo, fantastic save. He's going to try and find a moment here. And pay attention to that positioning right now. I think in the positioning game, KAIZ3N have just had it better. They've been forcing the ball into better positions for themselves, trying to keep it under control. Meanwhile, it feels like a lot of the reaction plays coming out from Next2Nu Cosmos have really just been them trying to prevent another touch from KAIZ3N. With 15 seconds left, Swag needs to make a play here. However, will be dunked on by Octo Cook. Clears that ball out. Swag, plenty of boost. Looks to go coast to coast. Is forced to drop the ball down low. Reflex and Depths, kind of a double commit on that play. Depths was just a bit higher. As Blizz is going to send this one down to the center. Double commit from KAIZ3N. Octo trying to keep it over towards Chris. Depths, just enough force to keep it afloat. Ball towards center. Blizz will bring this ball to ground. KAIZ3N will take game 1 at in a very tight fashion. I mean, look at the shots here. Swag put on so much offense for the team. In fact, he put on more shots than KAIZ3N. However, only 1 broke through of the 8 shots that Swag put on, and even then it was an own goal at the end of the day. No, correction. It was actually Swag who owned gold earlier, too. Technically, Swag is the only person to score for both teams right now. Tough defensive matchup for Next2Nu Cosmos. So, what does that mean for them, then? What do they need to do next in order to keep this game on lock and start finding some wins here? I think positionally, they've had the right idea. However, they're trying to react faster than they can communicate. They're not really trusting each other to go up because they just want to try and outspeed their competition here. So with that in mind, going into game 2, maybe try to find some more opportunities here. Reflex cuts that ball down and now is going to sail up above it. Tries to go for the double tap. Just a bit too far off. Swag also going for a double tap, this time low angle. Low altitude too, but won't break through. Instead, will take the corner shot. Reflex feeds his own assist here. Just challenges Chris fairly quickly. Beats out Blizz. Octo Cook is upfield anticipating a pass because it worked in game 1. Why wouldn't you be upfield? Truly trusting your teammates in that moment. However, with Blizz and Chris in the same area, wasn't the best position to be in. Ball sailing high. It's going to be Reflex now, keeping this one under control. Blitz with the shot, Chris with the putback off target, upfield to Reflex. Reflex putting some force on it, sets it up for Debs, who's trying to drop it down center. Fantastic defensive effort from Swag to Reflex to Depths. Have to be very happy with that setup. Now they have the 2-goal lead as well. If someone can make a clip of that moment for me, I would appreciate it. If not, I'll have to just get it later. Bar down skis for Blizz off the kickoff. What a feed from Chris to Blizz, and Blizz just with that aggression. Quick response after giving up 2 goals, now trying to get back on track. But Reflex, nice control, sets it upfield over to Depths. It's going to be off target to the left, and Swag saw like 3 bodies on the way, decided, let me put it away, let me give it back to the goated one. What a fantastic feed from Swag to Reflex. They have all this aggression coming out for them right now. Now with that motivation behind them, that chemistry is getting more on point. I feel like this is what they were trying to go for in game 1. I feel like this is what they were looking towards, trying to set each other up, but their timing was just off. Their timing for Next2Nu Cosmos was just a bit off in that game 1. However, in game 2, they're finding each other so easily. Chris with the touch out to the corner, but Reflex anticipates, goes in for the counter. Blizz, it's got floating. He's walking on a dream. Moving down to the 6th kickoff at this point. 90 seconds have just gone by. We already have 5 goals. About to be double the amount of goals scored in game 1. Back pass to Depths. Chevy Power, welcome on in. Blizz does have a lot of aggression. Maybe a bit too much going up for that with no boost in the tank. I know what your problem is. You ain't got no gas. As Octocook, control touch, gets denied and dunked down by Swag. Back into the blue corner. Blizz, pinch with Chris. Doesn't go towards the net, but buys him a little bit of space. Tries to set him up high. Reflex, sends that ball off to the side. Swag, I hear your teammate right behind you. Mind your spacing, bud. Soft controlled touch, and then Depth tries to come in to help out. Gets denied by Chris. I think it was blocked either way, but I love that trust, that community sense of, hey, let's have this goal together. Let's use the power of friendship. Let's come in, join hands, sing a little kumbaya as Swag tries to set this one up down center once again. However, everyone is slightly off rhythm. Instead of clapping on the 2s and 4s, they're clapping on the 1s and 3s. Or at least one of them is on the 1 and 3. The other 2 might be on 2 and 4s. I think Swag and Reflex on 2 and 4 right now. Chris drops that ball over to Depths. Depths just a bit too slow. Told you, 1 and 3 for him. Ball across the net. Octocook has the open net, but can't get it inside the goalpost, and Chris will be punished as he tries to correct the error. Off to the side, just nice control touch here. 90 seconds gone by. Soft flip reset, cross the net, and needs 2 people to clear it out. Back down to the corner. $80 seconds left in game 2 right now, and a very different Next2Nu Cosmos squad compared to game 1. Feels a bit more cohesive. However, also a very different KAIZ3N squad as well. I feel like they haven't really been finding these connections that they've had. I feel like Swag kind of took that own goal he made personally, realizing, you know, if it didn't hit that goalpost awkwardly, the game 1 would have been a 1-to-1 OT. And instead, they were down by 1 goal. And now he's taking off the aggression of scoring for himself. He's not shooting as much either. He doesn't have 8 shots like he did previously. Instead, all the onus has been put back onto Reflex and onto Depths. Depths with 2 goals and 1 shot at the moment. Swag looking for his first goal, won't find it. With 15 seconds left, game 2 safely and securely in the hands of Next2Nu Cosmos, which makes me question what adjustments will KAIZ3N make in game 3. And also, more importantly, we'll get a 5-game banger. Wrapping up game 2. Next2Nu Cosmos, just a fantastic setup here. Swag with half the shots he put in game 1, but none of the goals this time. While Reflex stepped up big time as well. Depths as well, finding 1 shot but 2 goals out of here. I have to be appreciative of that style of play. As I fix some assets here. But with that in mind, so the next question for me is, what does KAIZ3N need to do for their game 2? Because they played a fantastic game 1, don't get me wrong, however, they did have a little bit of help. I fully anticipated that they were going to try and set each other up a bit more aggressively in game 3. Everyone's already set and ready to go for the next matchup, so I'm going to go ahead and allow us in. Swag, you did pinch it against the goalpost, though. I do have to point that out. However, I think it might have gone in either way. Do you think that motivation, though, was enough for Next2Nu Cosmos as they continue their aggressive streak here? Ball towards center. Chris with the clear out on 0 boost. Enough momentum for Octo to try to keep that momentum going forward. Tries to challenge through. It's going to be Blizz. Goes in for the ball, but gets dunked down by a double commit with Reflex coming out on top. Ball towards center. Depths sets it up for Swag. No, sets it up for Reflex. Sorry, that camera angle lied to me. As we send that ball down center lane, Chris is going to get another chance here. Sets it upfield. Depths on the defensive side. Over to Swag. Swag looking for a center. Can't find it. Instead, it's Depths. Goes in for the challenge. Oh, out of position, out of time, out of the way for Blizz to pick up the first goal. Reflex came up to challenge. Tried to find the space. Instead, oh, was Reflex? I thought it was you, Swag. It was Reflex, you're right. And the ball goes down. Swag is going to pick up their first goal in a hot minute. I think it took them about... because they didn't score at all in game 2. However, they were helping everyone else out. Swag, thank you for the correction. Sometimes I misremember. Everyone is orange. Tied 1-1 at the moment. Everyone's orange, and I think everyone's also rocking a Fennec. Yeah, everyone's rocking a Fennec too. Definitely doesn't make it confusing for me. As Chris is going to 50 that ball onto the side. Bliss with the back pass, but Reflex with the redirect. Blizz was looking for safety, however, he forgot to set the alarm. As Reflex makes like a thief in the dead of night. Next2Nu Esports in the chat. There is a mark on field, I do agree. However, I can't say that on a stream. You cannot deny the girth of the mark. The mark just has that massive hitbox, which allows you to win those 50s. So I do appreciate Octocook, who's going a bit too high. It makes you feel better. At least it's not a scarab. So right now the formula has been whoever scores first will win the match. However, Next2Nu Cosmos is currently in the lead. Now, does this mean we will see 2 more goals from KAIZ3N before the end of the game, before Next2Nu can score again? Or will Next2Nu, with that motivation with that aggression behind them, those setup passing plays. Ooh, Octo Cook, you're proving my point wrong about the 50 game here. That was a poor 50. That was a bit heavy to take that vertical leap. Next2Nu have been working very well on the passing plays. In fact, they even got the opposing team to pass for them. Nice 50 from depth. That's the way to take it. Sets it up beautifully, forcing Octo into an awkward position. Do you mean tentacles? Tries to find the center. Blizz upfield, gets denied by Swag, but Chris will come in for the cleanup. That is A-okay. 125 seconds left to go. Nice center for depths. But it's going to be Octo Cook picking this one up. Over to Chris, off target. Swag kicks this one up into the air. Wants to get another piece of it, but kind of flails. Like it's a Pokemon without moves. Reflex. Didn't realize Depths was going for the touch, and now they're out of position once again. But Depths with the demo will also own goal at the end of the day. Sadly, that double commit on that blue side of the pitch made Depths panic. Gets the demo, which could have killed some time. However, too much forward momentum, no tapping on the brakes at that point, and boom, the ball's in your net. Now you've given them a chance. They have an opportunity. You have no insurance. Sadly, you are in fact at fault here for that wreck. 80 seconds left to go. Swag, corner touch to Reflex. Upfield, Blizz. Over to Octo, denied by Swag. Chris is going to set it up down towards center, hope someone picks it up. Instead, it's going to be Cosmos picking it up. Takes it off. Over to Swag, looks for a double. Oh no, it's going to be a missed opportunity, but Reflex is off target. Reflex overexerted, anticipated the save. Tried to play for it, instead gets dusted. And Depths is thrown out of his depth, trying to find an opening. Nice 50 from Blizz, won't be received by his own team, so takes out his aggression on Swag. Do really love the demo play, really love seeing people try to play that aggressive mindset. Swag goes in for the challenge, Reflex with low boost, 30 seconds away. Wants to close this out and prevent the OT. So far, KAIZ3N just needs to score one more goal to continue the idea that if you score first, you win. They may have to do an OT. Ball across the net. Octo's overcooked, and we are in overtime. Difficult play. Reflex wins on the kickoff, tries to follow through, but that path towards the net left him awkward. Swag looking for containment. It's going to be a breach as it heads back to the blue side. On target, Reflex looking for a feed. Won't find it, will go hungry. Instead, it's going to be Depths who's going to try and take a snack, but instead, we'll realize the clips are still on the bag, and it's vacuum sealed with one of those locks. Swag a bit too aggressive on the play. It's going to be goated. Tries to drop it down center. Depths on the backboard. Ball dropped down. Reflex sets it back up onto the backboard. Swag drops it down low once more. Can't get there. Reflex with the final touch. You put your foot through the opening of the door enough, eventually you will find your way inside, and that's exactly what happened to Next2Nu Cosmos as they take game 3 and are on match point. Next2Nu Cosmos have to be extremely proud of themselves on that play. So much aggression coming out from them. KAIZ3N trying to hurdle up and be a bit more defensive. However, not really working out in their favor at the moment too. I feel like the passivity is coming back for them. As I see there's a message. And it looks like Octo Cook is clocking out for the evening. He has had enough of the kitchen. It's gonna be Beastie coming in. So far on match point, though, Next2Nu has to be very happy with how they played at the moment. Like, quickly snooze. The 30 minutes of ads I tried to force. And it's going to be Reflex off the backboard. Now with Beastie on the field, we no longer have to worry about the girth of the Merc. It's two Phoenix and an Octane against a squad of Phoenix. Blizz looking for that redirect. Instead, that ball's going to head off to the side at the half-point court line. Won't break through. Deft sends it up center. Lob shot. Beastie with the denial. Beastie making their first appearance in this series. Could this be the missing formula that would bring KAIZ3N back to form from game one? Again, they were able to win game one off of an own goal, and they were denied that opportunity in game three. Beastie, no boost at this point in time. Chris, though, will deny, goes for another double tap, close angle. Reflex reads it perfectly and set that one up high. Swag off to the right wing. Swag drops it down for depths. Gets the denial. Beastie, fantastic defensive effort. Bit of help from Blizz and Chris. I think Beastie also needs to go down to a one-syllable name like the rest of the team. Nice demo, but almost an own goal from Swag. Would have been his actual first on this one. Dead picking up the ball. Beastie rises up, sends it off to the wing. So far, a solid 90 seconds of defense from this new member of the KAIZ3N squad. Pinch from Swag is gonna overexert itself, drop that ball down center. It's off the right wing. Sends it over to the orange. Off the left wing if you're looking at the other end. Def's looking to redirect towards net. Doesn't have a lot of power on that touch, but it's going to be enough for Reflex to follow through. Swag sends it off to the corner. Wants the upper 90. Sadly, a bit too tight. Redirect opportunity for Reflex. Will not go through. Reflex is failing him short on that one. Chris upfield, clears it, sends it down, tries to find a center for Blizz. Instead, it's Reflex who passes it to Blizz. Might be trying to return the favor from game three. Or is that game two? Chris, rising above the competition, fakes them both out. Beastie can't get there in time, killed the ball's momentum too much, and that provided Swag a fantastic chance to save as Chris denies this shot. We're over halfway through game four. Match point for Next2Nu Cosmos, and this has been the longest time we have seen with no one scoring. Not even on an error. Swag challenges Chris. Blizz up towards top shelf territory. Chris with the opening, though. Double commit at the back line. Just under 3 minutes. And credit where credit is due. Depths and Reflex miscommunication, both double committing on that save. Anticipating the double tap. Tried to deny it. Instead, it's a pass down center. Good old-fashioned diamond play. That's why it's part of the fundamentals. It will not fail you. As Beastie sinks his fangs into the back of Swag, Depths is forced to clear this one out. Once again, KAIZ3N first to score. We're not able to win in game three, though, but maybe looking to make the difference. Beastie helps out Blizz, clears that ball out, goes up to challenge. Reflex drops down to Depths. No, Chris denies. Reflex missing. Swag taking out Beastie. Swag chasing the ball, wants to pitch it off, but Beastie's back from the grave and then immediately sent back. Keep in mind in game one, folks, we had a game one goal loss, where Next2Nu were able to pick up a goal. As they look to do so, top shelf for Reflex. Blizz once again looking for safety, and instead finds a trap set by the Reflex goated. Will be goated in their time of need, gets the tying goal for Next2Nu. BC tries to outplay Reflex, but smart commit on that challenge. High angle shot, Swag comes above. Depths redirects to the back. Reflex, not close enough. Chris trying to clear out the net. Won't find a chance. It's gonna be Blizz dropping the ball down towards center. Trying to continuously attack center. It feels like it's been everyone's game plan at the moment for the most part. Even in that one. Double commit at the half court line, spelt doom for KAIZ3N. Chris tries to clear the ball across the net, but doesn't put enough force behind it. And Depth says, I will happily take another goal. Now, once again in the lead, Next2Nu Cosmos. I'm gonna try and close it out, but it's gonna be Chris with the demo. Oh, BC popped it up high. Reflex was ready for it. Off the right wing, back into the corner. BC and Chris, a bit of a miscommunication error. Double commits are killing both teams, but the fault here is it's being capitalized on more by Next2Nu Cosmos. Hence why they are looking to close out this game 4 with a 3-1 in their favor. 1-goal lead. Chris doesn't have enough boost. Beastie has to just force something up high. Depths, out of his depths, will boom it out of the way. Next2Nu Cosmos will take game 4, closing it out. And will now be 3-2 and takes out the Goliath KAIZ3N. Next2Nu Cosmos have to be very proud of that opportunity. Close out that matchup in such a beautiful way. After losing game 1, they quickly resolved themselves and figured out how to find the solution. The solution has been finding those connecting passes, challenging, forcing awkward touches to where they could take advantage of most, and watching for when KAIZ3N double committed. And that's what led to Next2Nu Cosmos victories in game 3 and game 4. Game 2, it was just straight up passing plays. It was setups. It was beautiful. Thank you for the follow, Depths. I appreciate that. Well, folks, that's going to be all for me. In the meantime, I am in the process of moving to a new house, so all this, it's going to be very different. We're actually having like a streamer set between my wife and our new roommate, our new partner, so it's going to be fantastic overall for me, at least, because I'm going to have more people at home to help me with technical issues. In the meantime, folks, thank you all so very much. Let's go see if we can find someone to rate out here. If you are watching this on YouTube, please give a like and a follow. Ring that bell. I think I have to say that. I'm not entirely sure if I do. But it's been an overall fantastic series from these folks. Congratulations once again to Next2Nu Cosmos for that victory. They have done a wonderful job. Folks, we're going to actually head on over to Pyro J, who is in the middle of a tournament. Yeah, he is currently running a tournament at the moment. So, folks, you just saw one team take victory. Now let's see if they can take another one, as Pyro J is going to bring you some action. In the meantime, folks, thank you all once again. My name is IceColeBrew. Please go check out !socials if you want to know where I am at on the social media network. If you want me to cast your games, please reach out to me via Discord or via my socials as well. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And then on top of that, folks, please go check out merch over at !Hilarity. She sells a whole bunch of wonderful charms and pins over on Etsy.com/shop/hilarity art. And in the meantime, I will catch you guys next time. Take care.